Calopia, the Kingdom Award. Good morning, I'm Disha Doshi and I'm the CEO.
I'm Hiya Khanna and I'm the CMO.
I'm Tetsa Gupta, I'm CFO.
I'm Kiran Main, the COO.
I'm Yusuf, the CDO.
Now, how did we begin? What exactly is our story? We all know that the word social entrepreneur has been going around for quite some time now. What basically social entrepreneur means is a person, an entrepreneur who uses business tactics to solve a social problem or bring about a social change. And when we got together as a group, we realized that that's exactly what we wanted to do. So what our company does is, we provide a platform to artists and an opportunity for them to earn their livelihood and lead a better life and have a brighter future.
Right. So the problem we're trying to address is conveyed by these three pictures. There's an artisan, okay? There's the global demand of handicrafts. There's the supply, but there's a huge gap between them. So Teja and Art having a solution.
So our solution, what are we doing to bridge the gap? Our solution is an online website through which artisans can sell their products and customers abroad can purchase them. We're also a social venture. We're looking for reasonable profits but a very large impact.
I'll be telling you how exactly we'll be functioning now. The thing is, we'll be having a website in which we that's our prototype of the website. We call it Calopia, our mission statement. The customers will be registering onto it and they can choose their products onto it. How exactly we'll be functioning is, first of all, we identify the art forms that we want to deal in, which are miniature and Madhubani in our case. Then we form contacts with people who actually make these. And these artists live in villages and we already formed contacts with them. And next we negotiated with them and created a catalog which we will be uploading on our website. Our customers can choose what they want, and what sets us apart from other ventures is that we give them the option of customization and personalization. There will be certain specifications on the website itself that will, certain options through which they can customize. Other than that, they can also send us specific things that they want to be done to their product. And finally, we'll be making the product and sending it to them. We'll be shipping it to them. And in this whole process, another thing that sets us apart is that while after the customization specifications have been given to us, we'll be sending them, while the product is making, we'll be sending them the progress report and how it looks so that they can approve and also make some other changes if they like.
So these are our 4 products. The first one you see here is a miniature painting on silk. So what are miniature painting? Miniature painting are small paintings which depict a lot like an epic in a very small art form. This is the Madhubani paint art on paper mache and the miniature art on marble clay, and this is the Madhubani painting on handmade paper.
So this has been our progress so far. We've conducted a survey in New York, and here we'll tell you more about it. And we've already found potential customers in New York. We'll be focusing on Madhubani and miniature art forms for now. And we've also identified our artisans who are ready to work with us right now. They're from Rajasthan and Bihar for the respective paintings and for the art forms. So now our features and benefits. We're global. Our products are rare and reasonable because our products are based on the artist's creativity alone. We offer customization in 3 forms. A fusion. So we sat with an artist who was in Rajasthan and we created a fusion of Madhubani and miniature art paintings. You can see it there. You can have either a name or a small design engraved on the product, on the base product, or you can change the whole base of the product. The specifications are written here.
Now, as for the market, we did some research and we found out that the handicraft market in the global level is huge. It's worth billions. And also just like specially mentioned here, we are going to start with New York. So the market there itself is worth about $2 billion. So, and we'll be targeting about 0.15% of it, which will give us a revenue of about 11 lakhs in the first year. And the specific people that we'll be targeting there, in New York itself, New York City itself, there are about the people living from Indian origin are comprised of about 2.18% of the total population, which is about 200,000. And the people from American origin are about 3 million. And due to the high position of Indian people living there, there's a huge influence of the Indian culture over there, so we know that there's a demand for these products. Also, we conducted a survey which was actually answered by people in New York, and according to that, we got the figure that about 25% of them usually spend or are willing to spend more $1,000 or less on home decor or handicrafts, Indian handicrafts that is, and about 25% of them would spend $5,000 or more on them, and a staggering figure of 50% would be spending more than $5,000.
So these are our biggest competitors. One thing we have in common is we all sell handicrafts. But what makes us separate apart from customization and our rare products are that we're doing this for the artisans. We're doing this for the whole industry as a whole.
This is how funding is going to work. So the first year we required about 16.5 lakhs to start up with 13 lakhs from investors and 3.5 lakhs as investment. And second year the total budget is 20 lakhs. With 17 lakhs from investors and 3 lakhs from self-investment. And third year, the whole budget is 25 lakhs, with 20 lakhs from investors and 5 lakhs from self-investment. And fourth year, we plan to reinvest 95% of our funds, and also planning to have partnerships with Pepperfry, Fab India, etc. So these are finance projections for the first 3 years. As you can see, we're going to start a company in probably April or May. 16.5 lakhs is expenditure with a revenue of 11 lakhs. Then we started with 20 lakhs as our expenditure and 70 lakhs as our revenue. And then this 25 lakhs expenditure with 28 lakhs revenue. This is our year-end analysis. The blue line is here is the fixed cost. This is about 80,450 rupees, I guess. And then our total cost, it rises up from 6,40,000 in the first mid-quarter. Comes down to about 4.5 lakhs in the second mid-quarter, rise up to 5 lakhs at the end of the third quarter, and total revenue starts up from 2,20,000 at the end of the first quarter, then goes to about 4 lakhs and keeps steady pace at the end of the year.
So our advisors are Mr. Vivek Varma and Mr. Raghu Babu, who is also a mentor, and they have helped us build on this idea a lot.
To summarize it all, our vision is to ensure that the once thriving handicrafts industry from India are back to its full glory again, and that each one of you has something that shows the struggle of this industry.
We want each and every one of your homes to have something that signifies passion and creativity. Something that drives you to keep working harder every day. And finally, art that you personally can connect to.
Calopia, our vision.
Our dream.
Our kingdom.
You mentioned that you're planning to have customization as one of the key differentiators, right? Have you talked to the artisans to see if, one, they're willing to do such, take such customized orders, and two, what is involved? I mean, how does it change their cost dynamics as well as their, the timelines, the delivery deadlines, and all of that? Also, when you start doing your scaling math, typically that's done on standardized, product, right? When you suddenly introduce customization into the mix, all your models will go for a toss. Have you thought through that, and what have you done with that?
Right, so we've actually talked to the artisans about customization, and they were ready to do it because for the first 2 types of customizations, where the base product is going to be the same, right? For the second, the base product will be the same. So just maybe a small engraving has to be done. That takes about 2 hours to be done. So, and then for customizing, for this customization, it actually takes about six hours to make any one of those products on these bases, and we're planning to set up a contract with them where when we give them the orders, they complete ours first and at a priority basis, and then they continue doing their work.
So, are you thinking of doing the sales as one by one-off? Are you planning warehousing? No? So it's all one-off.
This is,
And you'll ship it all the way to New York, for example, from somewhere here. And all of that is taken care of in your cost unit dynamics.
Right. Yes, it is.
So you have a lot of competition in this space, right? So for example, you say Madhubani, there's a website called madhubani.com where they sell all of this. So if someone in New York wants to buy Madhubani art, they have many options. So the likelihood is something you need to check out, that you could actually have some exclusivity with these artisans who do this, right? They have many options. They can go to madhubani.com or give their art to you, right? They're going to give it to the one who's going to give them the largest margins, I mean, the most money they can, right? So how are you going to handle this pricing pressure when they have multiple options and customers have multiple options? So I think where you are going with this is that to come up with a unique sort of fusion seems to be the differentiation, right? That's what you're trying to do. Then the question is fusion somehow contaminating this cultural, purity, if you will, right? That is the question you got to ask. So maybe the fusion will work. But if you want pure Madhubani, well, you don't want it to be tied with miniature. So I don't know how the market looks at it, but so the point of customizing and expecting that the artisan will customize for you when you've got other options, that's the question.
When we talked, when we talked to the artisans, we found out that when they're selling it through other means, they're not getting the money that they deserve. They're getting way less than that. So what we are planning to do is 25% of the profits that we get, that they will be given back to the artisans itself. And as far as contamination is concerned, if you look at the quote over there, it's by Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. It says, our ambition is bold and so should be our desire to evolve our culture. So what we're trying to do here is single-handedly these cultures are actually dying out. You can see that happening in India, you can see that happening abroad. So we're trying to fuse them together and make them live as one.
So I think the question is, will the market accept it, right? So if I am someone living in New York and I want a piece of Indian traditional art, I want pure Madhubani versus, I'm not saying yes or no, did you check out the market for fused art? That is the question, right? And are the artisans willing to do that, right? That's the question, right? That's the question we need to find out. I don't know what the answer is, but
the artisans are very much willing to do that because they're getting a platform where they can actually showcase their art properly. Because if you consider platforms in Hyderabad like Shilpa Rama, they have to pay a rent of 10,000 rupees, and that is a lot. So we're eliminating all those factors, and then we're giving them more money than they can actually get, and hence we're trying to save this industry from dying out. So our mission is it's huge.
No, I'm very happy we're trying to do. I want to make sure we can sustain this in the face of competition, right? There are many options for that.
That's fantastic, but we have to sustain it. What can we do?
Questions?
Any questions from the audience?
I think you guys can do a good job, because in today's world everybody wants fusion. Nobody wants to go in one way, they want some difference in everything. Even the pasta you make, you want difference. Sorry?
They want to look unique and set new trends for themselves.
Exactly.
If you notice our houses itself, there's a particular place where there is all this traditional art, and then there's another place which is completely modern. So, I mean, it's the same principle. As far as people accepting it goes, I think they will definitely accept this. It's something new, it hasn't come out in the market yet.
And I have one more question. You guys mentioned very clearly you're going to start in May, June. How did you make this plan?
See, we're all good entrepreneurs, want to do stuff. So if this works out, I'm probably going to drop out of school and go.
Any other questions? One suggestion. You guys, good work there. Quick suggestion: you could offer some stakes to the artisans there, thereby get their buy-in to exclusively work for you, prioritize for you. Also have some kind of what do you call, a school of art or something run by those people, which will continuously groom the people to come into that industry, their own kith and kin probably. So that's how you could probably buy some exclusive.
Yeah, actually we thought of this. We already told you in the 4th year we are going to reinvest our 75% of the profits into this. So what are we going to do is we are going to invest this profits on building up the livelihood of the artisans. We are like planning to have some separate schools for them. Right now, if you when we spoke to the artisans, they told that the kids are also interested in making all these kind of ones rather than going for the IT or the other career options. So if we like plan up for building some schools and all, so they are really very interested to get into these ones. Apart from this, they also want profits, so that we already ensured we are giving it to them.
Yeah, also, we also mentioned that 25% of our profits will be going back to these artists so that they will have an incentive to work for us.
It's a great job, team. So, the mentor for this group is Mr. Raghu Babu.
Yeah, good afternoon, friends. Thank you, team. Wonderful job. And they took the cue from the Prime Minister Modi in terms of making India as well as the inclusiveness. That's the idea which got synchronized. The very very energetic team and very very enthusiastic team. They had very very intense competition. They had 3 ideas. To settle down with one idea, it took 2-3 weeks. And in a way, they also lost some time in that process. And they could have done lot more homework. I think they are quite dispersed in terms of the way they stay. I think they could not spend enough time. I don't know in terms of the examination. I think they are close to exam and all of that. In terms of timing this from a time perspective going forward, I don't know if there's something can be done. So good job, guys. Keep it up. And I looked at all other teams have done wonderful job, and all of them are real world challenges or real world opportunities. Where, some of it very very thickly tech integrated. And a lot of good work, and a lot of hard work done by all of them. Thank you.
Thanks, Raghu. So last week this team presented to Shashi Reddy, is a prominent investor from Hyderabad Eagles. So he liked the idea, and one of them asked, so would you invest? So he said, no, I want to copy and do it on my own.
But
So-
it's an execution team like this.
Absolutely. So one thing we are thinking is maybe from the judges will get an NDA signed so that they don't steal ideas.
Also add some words to it because he has mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So Vivek also was second mentor for this team.
Thank you. I guess wonderful job. Couple of things that I liked in my time that I spent with the team was 3 things that stood out for me. One, here's a team who's looking at not just from a commercial standpoint, but what can we do from a social standpoint. So I think that for me clearly stood out. I think the second thing which I worked with them and I'm happy of what they're doing is to look at the whole ecosystem and not just focus on one segment of the market, because here's a solution which kind of looks at it all the way from the back-end artist who's trying to bring it and then take it to the famous market of the New York City. So here's something which is going all the way. So that stood out for me, and I think it came out quite clearly today. And the third thing that I felt which was very good and unique in their idea is to create the fusion. So to answer one of the questions you were asking, sir, I think the market they're looking at is not that high-end market who can afford a real Madhubani and put it on their wall. But the idea is to try and bring that art to the aspirational people who can then look at it and say, my table lamp is a Madhubani. It's not pure play Madhubani which I can't afford. I think in a certain sense that answer didn't come through, but that's the thought that they have, so they want to bring that out. So I think all those 3 things well done. My only suggestion to you is you should have spent a little more time on your name. And maybe if you do want to, you might want to talk about the name and the story behind your name.
So, Kalopia is actually 2 words, Kala and Ethiopia. Kala means art, and Ethiopia, apart from being the country it is today, it was a kingdom which was founded in the 1st AD and declined till the 7th AD, and finally in 1888 it was re-established. So we're trying to show the lifelong struggle of that kingdom we're trying to compare it to the lifelong struggle of this industry as well. That's the significance behind it.
That's the story behind the whole thing. And one of the things I was working with them is that for industry and a product like this, the story is very, very important. So each of the products will carry the story as a small tag which will go along with it, so you understand what's Kalopia and why and where they're coming from. So well done. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Vivek. So that's the end of all the pitch sessions for today. So what we'll do next is we'll give about 20 minutes for the judges to group and decide on the category winners as well as the overall winner.